A year ago today, BP's Deepwater Horizon drilling rig exploded. That killed 11 men and caused the largest offshore oil spill in US history. What has this incident meant for the deepwater drilling industry? Well, let's find out. We're joined by Gaurav Sharma, Principal Analyst, Oil and Gas Infrastructure Journal. Also, Clem Chambers is with us, CEO of ADV-FN, both here in our London studio. Let's get into some of the learnings from the from what's happened really in the year since the BP oil spill. I mean, I guess what we had assumed was that that there would be a move against offshore these offshore projects. What's been the reality of the past 12 months?
You see, when we initially started researching, we had the same sentiments, but 3 months into our research, and we just about completed it, we feel that that has not happened. In fact, if you look at project finance valuations that we have at Infrastructure Journal, it has actually increased year on year by 42.8%. I pulled some figures for you before I came over. Now, in 2008, we had about $15 billion worth of project finance for offshore. In 2010, we have about $10 billion worth, but that's still an appreciation over 2009. The only thing which actually impacted offshore in the last 5 years was not the Macondo incident, it was actually the financial crisis, which made debt pricing all that much higher. And now we are seeing is that debt pricing is back to pre-crisis levels. We are seeing loans of somewhere around 175 basis points above LIBOR for some of these energy projects. So if there was a move away from offshore, that's certainly not reflecting in the data.
Has there been any change to the way the industry works as a result of what happened in the Gulf of Mexico?
I would say somebody's loss is somebody's gain. Things are tough in the United States, purely from a legislative angle, but their loss is probably the Brazilians' gain. We have seen the Brazilian market pick up, astonishingly in the last sort of three to 4 years, and Macondo has helped that. People, offshore drillers now think Brazil is the go-to destination. The Brazilians ensure that they'll regulate their industry well. That's what they have told us. But in the US, the market is kind of constrained by how the permits are granted. The Brazilians have no such hang-ups. In fact, 5 of the projects that we have, 5 of the major projects that we have are Brazilian ones.
Clem, do these findings surprise you? I mean, I guess it's tricky, isn't it? Because on the one hand, there was terrible publicity for BP, certainly, as a result of the Gulf of Mexico oil spill, and yet that's not having no impact on demand for oil, is it? So we've got to get the oil out of the ground somehow.
The world needs energy, right? That's full stop, you know. Energy's life. Can't do without energy. So if they're not going to drill it in one place, they're going to start drilling it in another place. And there's plenty of energy out there. There's plenty of need for drilling. All the oil service companies are doing extremely well. So, you know, that's been a boom market for 2 years. Even people like GE are buying into that sector. So, you know, the world needs energy. It's an absolute given, and people aren't going to go without it.
Chloe's got a question for you too.
Hi, Clem. Good morning to you. You know, aside from energy, there seems to be, you know, insatiable appetite for gold as well. And in your book, congratulations, 101 ways to, what was it? 101 ways to make money, was it? Was that the name?
Pick stock market winners.
Pick stock market winners.
Oh,
even in that.
Oh,
yeah,
wonderful.
exactly. Yeah, there you go. You know, even in that book, you talk about how some of the best strategies, and you know, last time we talked about how we are now entering a new cyclical bull market. But is it possible that stocks move higher while gold also moves higher?
Well, I think what we're seeing is a huge inflation worry. What you're seeing, even though that people are talking about, you know, balancing the budget, etc., in the States, there's still really a vast and full set of money pouring out into the world via America. And until the next election, that's not going to really be turned off in the States. And so, you know, we've got another 18 months of reflation coming down the pike. So, you know, people have to take their capital and put it somewhere. And there's very few places you can put it. You can put it in gold. Obviously, property is not exactly the great selection at the moment, so that's kind of shut out for people. So it's gold and equities. That's the place to be in. Bonds are clearly going to be in a bear market for years now. So with bonds in a bear market, all that money is going to be looking for another home too. So, you know, gold is a haven from inflation. People desperately want that at the moment. If you look at collectibles, portable collectibles are absolutely exploding. You know, 40–50% per annum the last couple of years. Things like coins and art and wine have been going up because people just want to stash their cash. And gold is the place to go. And equities, although it's not exactly as good a hedge as, say, gold or land, it's nonetheless a very liquid way of putting your money out of cash and into something tangible. So yes, you can, and I believe we will be getting big rallies in equities over the next few years, and I think you'll easily see gold at $2,000, and you'll be hearing a lot of people predicting a lot higher numbers than that going forward, but I think you'll see $2,000 gold within the next 12 months.
Clem, if I want to play gold, but I don't actually want to buy the precious metal itself, how can I adjust my equity strategy to get some of those gains out of gold? What kind of stocks can I look at?
Well, I mean, I personally think that if you want to put gold in an equity portfolio, you should look at an ETF. And I know that's sort of like one of those virtuous circle things where they buy gold and drive the price higher. But a lot of the miners are extremely highly valued, and the gold price is built into them. So if you'd bought some of the gold miners, say 6 months ago, you'd be looking at them going, why haven't these things gone up? Gold's gone through the roof, but my gold shares hasn't. That's because it's already in the price. And, you know, the best thing to do is to have good old physical gold in an ETF, in your equity portfolio, and just leave it there as a diversification. That's the way that I look at it. Okay. That's the safest way, anyway.
Gaurav, let's come back to you quickly before we let you go. Since the Gulf of Mexico incident a year ago, we've obviously have a new leadership team at BP with a different strategy. Do you believe that BP are moving increasingly away from the US when we see deals like what's been going on in Russia?
Well, this thing that BP has somehow given up on the States is a myth. BP still maintains a heavy presence there. What they've done essentially is they've moved out of the refining and marketing end stateside. But then that's part of an industry trend. Even if Macondo had not happened, BP would have still gone down that route, as has some of the other oil majors. Yes, they're signing deals in India. Yes, the whole Rosneft scenario is very well documented. But it's a nonsense that they're going to give up on the States.
OK, thanks very much for that. Thanks to Gaurav Sharma from Infrastructure Journal. Also, Clem Chambers, well done with the book as well, and good luck with that. Clem Chambers, of course, from ADVFN. Well, that's it for this edition.